Okay, this is the second class on our topic radar systems. Now, here we are going to discuss about a basic radar system. Radar we have already discussed. It is radio detection and ranging. It consists of a transmitter that produces an electromagnetic signal which is radiated into space by antenna. When this signal strikes the object, it will get reflected or re-radiated in many directions. This reflected or echo signal is received by the radar antenna, which delivers it to the receiver. There, at the receiver, it is processed to determine the geographical statistics of the object. Okay, I am just explaining it once again. Now, the range is determined by calculating time taken by the signal to travel from radar to the target and back. Target location is measured in angle from the direction of the maximum amplitude echo signal the antenna points to measure the range and location of moving object. Doppler effect is used. So these are the basics of a radar system. The figure shows the block diagram of the basic radar system. This you have to study. That is the same concept as a wave is sent from the transmitter through an antenna. It hits the target. The wave is reflected back from the target. It is received by the antenna at the receiver. It is then collected and processed to get information about the target. Now these are the essential parts of the target system. All these are explained in the here. This is very important, that is block diagram and its explanation of what a basic radar system. Transmitter. It is nothing but a power amplifier like klystron, traveling wave tube or power oscillator like magnetron. The signal is first generated using a waveform generator and then it is amplified in the power amplifier. That's all about transmitter. Now they use waveguides. They are just used as transmission lines for transmission of radar signals. Then antenna, it is used usually a parabolic reflector, planar array or electronically steered phased arrays are used as antennas. Duplexer, it allows the antenna to be used as a transmitter or receiver. It can be a gaseous device that produces a short circuit at the input to the receiver when transmitter is working. Then receiver, it is a super heterodyne receiver or any other receiver consisting of a processor to process the signal and detect it. Finally, a threshold decision. The output of receiver is combined with a threshold to detect the presence of any object. If the output is below any threshold, the presence of noise is assumed. Okay, so block diagram and the various parts contained in a basic radar system. Now, classification of types of radar. Radars can be classified into the following two types based on the type of signal with which radar is operated. That is, classification of radar is based on the type of signal that they use. One classification is pulse radar and the other one is continuous wave radar. Now let us discuss about these two types of radars one by one. So here we are just discussing briefly. Later you will have to study it in detail. So now at present I am just mentioning only the main points. In the coming sessions we will discuss it in detail. Okay. Now what is pulse radar? The radar which operates with a pulse signal is called pulse radar. They are again classified into two types based on the type of target it detects. Okay. One is basic pulse radar, the other is moving target indication radar. Now what is basic pulse radar? The radar which operates with the pulse signal for detecting stationary targets is called basic pulse radar or simply pulse radar. It uses single antenna for transmitting and receiving signals. Okay, a single antenna is used for both transmitting and receiving, and this is done with the help of a duplexer, which we have already discussed. Antenna will transmit a pulse signal at every clock pulse. The duration between the two clock pulses should be chosen. How it is chosen? It is chosen in such a way that echo signal, that is the reflected back signal corresponding to the present clock pulse, should be received before the next clock pulse. This is how the duration between the clock pulses are adjusted in a basic pulse radar. Okay. The other one is moving target indication radar. This radar operates with pulse signal for detecting non-stationary objects. Okay. It is also abbreviated as MTI radar. It uses It also uses single antenna for both transmitting and receiving signals. This is done with the help of a duplexer. Here the concept of or the principle of Doppler effect is used for distinguishing the non-stationary target from stationary objects. Now the other classification, continuous wave radar. This was pulse wave radar. They are classified into two, basic pulse radar and moving target indication radar. Now the other one is continuous wave radar. They are again classified into two, unmodulated continuous wave radar and frequency modulated continuous wave radar. So let us see what is a continuous wave radar. The radar which operates with continuous signals is called continuous wave radar. Here also principle of Doppler effect is used for detecting non-stationary objects. They are again classified into two, unmodulated continuous wave radar and frequency modulated continuous wave radar. Now unmodulated continuous wave radar means it operates with continuous signal for detecting non-stationary target, and it is abbreviated as CW radar. It is also called CW Doppler radar. Now here this radar uses two antennas. That is, one antenna is used for transmitting signal, whereas the other antenna is used for receiving signal. But in the case of pulse radar and its classification, only single antenna is used for both transmitting and receiving. But here see, in the case of continuous wave radar and its classifications, they are making use of two types of antennas, one antenna for transmitting signals and the other antenna for receiving signals. Now here this type of radar measures only the speed of target but not the distance of the target from the radar. Now the other classification, frequency modulated continuous wave radar, abbreviated as FMCW. It uses frequency modulation. It is also called FMCW Doppler radar. It is also called CWFM radar, that is continuous wave frequency modulated radar. It also uses two antennas, one for transmitting signal and the other for receiving signal. This also measures not only speed of the target but also distance of target from the radar. Now these are a few applications of radar, that is in military applications, then in air traffic control, this you can read, then for remote sensing, then for ground traffic control, and also for space applications. So applications of radar is also important. This is very simple, so that's why I'm not explaining, you just read through. So this discuss about the types of radar, basic radar system, how a basic radar system look like, its block diagram and its parts, this is important, and the types of radar, then applications. So this class is important, so please make a note of all this. Okay, thank you.